Hey everybody, this is No Bones About Wrestling. I am one of your hosts, Asa, along with my always co-host, Kay Fabulous.
Hey.
And this, of course, is our weekly show, AEW Weekly. It is your weekly roundup of all things All Elite Wrestling. And of course, this week we're going to talk about last week's Dynamite. We're going to talk about the World's End pay-per-view. We're going to talk about our top 5 rankings. We're going to talk about AEW news. We're going to have some jokes, good, bad, and indifferent, and some more. So let's get right at it, shall we?
Sounds good.
All right, so AEW Dynamite, December 27th, 2023, Orlando, Florida, Continental Classic Gold League Final. Jon Moxley versus Jay White versus Swerve Strickland. All three started fighting on the outside. Moxley threw both over the barrier. Moxley crotched White on a guardrail. Swerve bit Moxley. Swerve went for a backflip move to the outside on White and missed. Swerve frog splashed both men on the floor. Moxley hit rapid fire elbows as he does. White grabbed a chair and hit Moxley 4 or 5 times on the outside with it. Swerve hit the house call on White. Pretty vicious move to the side of the head. Swerve hit a 450 splash on White. Mox broke the cover up. Mox with a German suplex on Jay White. Swerve with a German suplex of his own on Moxley. Moxley with a diamond cutter on Jay White. White with a sleeper suplex on Swerve Strickland. Mox had Jay White in a chokehold. Swerve Strickland broke it up with a house call. White hit a Blade Runner on Moxley for a 2 count. Swerve threw White into a chair that was placed in the corner of the ring. Moxley got a Death Rider on Jay White for the pin and the win. And Moxley made it to the final of the Continental Classic. This was a wild match. Very good match. 4.5 bones out of 5, I gave it. Kay, what did you think about this one?
That was a great opener. I was really surprised when they opened with it. I kind of expected it to be the main event of the show, just because all 3 men are so popular and so kind of high-ranking in their organization.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the number 1 spot is also a spot of prestige nowadays. Yeah, it was a good match. I thought Swerve was going to win, and he did not. So it was a very surprising ending for me. I do like that Swerve did not take the pin, though.
Yeah, I think a lot of people expected Swerve to win. You know, he's on a pretty high-moving, pretty fast-moving, I should say, trajectory, which I think will lead him to a world title in 2024. I think they intentionally left him out of the Continental Classic finals because, they want to move him into the world title scene.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they intentionally, we were talking about that last week, I think they intentionally left him out of the Continental Classic finals.
And I think, too, I think maybe Dylan from Last Week on Wrestling podcast told us this, but Swerve was the least pinned, I guess, contestant. Is that what you call them? Competitor in the Continental Classic, because he only got pinned once.
Yeah.
And everyone else had been pinned 2 or more times.
Which is wild to think about.
Yeah.
But yeah, 4.5 bones out of 5. Very good match to start with on Dynamite. After that, we had a short Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston video hyping up the match later in the night. Then we had a Swerve Strickland promo after the match. They caught him, and he passionately talked about how he wanted the Continental Classic win. Tony Schiavone brought up a contract with Keith Lee for the World's End pay-per-view, and Prince Nana said, "We'll see if he showed up." Spoiler, he didn't. But we'll discuss that when we get to the pay-per-view. Renee is with Mariah May. who announces she'll debut on the January 3rd Dynamite, so tomorrow night. Riho's music hits. She faces off with Mariah May. Toni Storm and Luther then run out. Storm squares off against Riho as May runs away. Luther carries Toni in his arms, and Riho then splashes them both from the top rope. Riho grabs the world title belt and poses in the ring with it. But that's not her belt. That's not her belt.
That's like the kiss of death, isn't it? When you have a world title match coming up, or any kind of belt match coming up, if you touch the belt before the match, you're like cursed to not get it.
Generally.
We'll have to wait and see what happens.
But so this was pretty good. I'm looking forward to Mariah May's debut on Dynamite tomorrow night. They still not said who she's facing. A lot of people are speculating, of course, as the internet does. A lot of people are speculating Mercedes Moné. I don't see them having two high-profile people debut like that against each other, kind of canceling each other out. I don't see that happening. But that's been a lot of the speculation today, is saying Mariah May versus Mercedes Moné. I don't see that happening. That's not to say Moné won't show up tomorrow night, because maybe she will, but I don't think she'll be involved with Mariah May.
Yeah, I don't think so either, because like you don't want either of your brand new people to lose their first match.
Yeah.
Like that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and that Swerve promo after where they called him after the match, the Swerve promo was very good, very impassioned promo. Swerve once again showing that he has really upped his game here in the late part of 2023, going into 2024 now.
Can I ask you a question?
Okay.
Do you think Swerve is just now being given the avenues to showcase his talent, or do you think his talent really has grown that much in 2023? Because he's a very different character than we first saw, and a very different wrestler than we first saw when he first showed up. Do you think that was just the booking and his promo time that he was given, or do you think he's really changed that much in the course of a year? I'm just curious.
Man, his abilities haven't changed that much. He's always been a very good wrestler, even going back to like Lucha Underground, which if you haven't seen Lucha Underground, do yourself a favor and find it and check it out. Lucha Underground. But his abilities have never been in question. But as far as his character, his promos, that is what has improved so much in 2023. So he's finally found the sweet spot of, a lot of times people say your best wrestling character is kind of yourself put on high, yourself turned up to 10, something like that, and maybe, I don't know the guy, obviously, but maybe that's what we're getting right now is the real man turned up to 10. Well, a side, the dark side of the man turned up very high, and I think that's what we're getting, the more realism you put into it, the more that's going to come across to the fans, and the more it's gonna serve you in your character, and the easier it is to play that character. So I think that's what we're seeing. He's not playing someone behind a mask. He's not playing this, like a big hip hop kind of star, like they tried to make him in WWE. That kind of thing that they were attempting to do. I think he's kind of doing that in here, but he's more just himself here. A cocky, confident wrestler here. They're kind of leaving out the hip hop, all that.
Wasn't that the mogul part of the mogul embassy?
It is, but they don't really touch on that anymore. In AEW, it's all about the wrestling and what he wants as a wrestler.
Yeah.
They don't really touch on any of that anymore, and maybe that's where the turn happened. Is when we saw what he wanted as a wrestler. come out more. So,
good answer.
Up next, Top Flight and Action Andretti are in the back discussing their next step. And then International Champion Orange Cassidy, Rocky Romero, and Trent Beretta overhear them and challenge them to a match on Rampage. And that match happened, and it was pretty good. Then we get a shot of Lexi Nair. She's in the back with TNT Champion Christian, the Prodigy Nick Wayne, and Mother Wayne. And they're awaiting Adam Copeland for an interview later. And then this next segment was pretty long. I'm going to try and recap it pretty quickly. Tony Schiavone is in the ring. He introduces the Callis family. The crowd chants, "Fuck you, Callis." So for Boxing Week, which is a thing in Canada, Callis presents a series of paintings as presents to the Callis family members. For Powerhouse Hobbs, it's a painting of Hobbs and Callis, and Callis is basically dressed as Tupac Shakur. For Takeshita, it's a painting of Callis sitting in a chair in a traditional Japanese dojo, and Takeshita standing over him with a sword in hand. For the Ring of Honor World Television Champion, Kyle Fletcher, it's a painting of both of them punching various animals in Australia.
I missed that somehow, that's what his was.
Yeah, it's them going wild in the outback, punching various Australian animals. So after these three paintings have been presented, Sammy Guevara's music hits, and he comes out and he's displeased. And it's revealed Sammy's painting is Sammy holding his baby while the rest of the Callis family gathers around them, which is pretty sweet, I thought, honestly. But Sammy is upset because Callis never called him while he was out with his concussion. Callis insults Sammy's parenting, and Sammy then shoves Callis, and the rest of the Callis family beat up on Sammy. And then Judas hits, and the crowd goes wild. Chris Jericho runs down with Floyd, the baseball bat, and runs off the Callis family. Jericho then starts smashing the framed paintings, one after another. And when he reaches the one with Sammy and his child on it, Jericho hands the bat to Sammy. And Sammy smashes that one. And after that, the two men then extend hands to shake. And they shake hands, and then they hug, and the crowd loves it. But right as soon as that happens, the World Tag Team Champions, Ricky Starks and Big Bill, run down to attack Jericho and Guevara. And they beat on them for a couple seconds. And then who comes in for the save? Sting and Darby Allin. And the crowd goes crazy. It's nice to see Darby Allin has been gone for a bit. And he returns with this awesome, like, purple trench coat thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool to see.
That's cool, yeah.
It was
he was
nice.
climbing Mount Everest.
Yeah. So I guess that was successful.
Yeah, I guess he survived.
I don't know. I never heard anything else about that. But so Sting and Darby ran in for the save, and this all set up a big 4-on-4 match at the pay-per-view. Up next, Renee was with Roderick Strong and the Kingdom, and they had a bizarre chart that they say proves MJF is the devil.
It looked like one of those like serial killer maps that you see when someone's like trying to figure out a conspiracy theory or something in the movies with like the red yarn.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of black and white photos of things and yarn stretching here and there and writing in red pencil. It looked like Roderick Strong had lost his mind. Mm-hmm. Up next, they run down the card for World's End, and then we get the Continental Classic Blue League final. Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston. So pretty quickly, they head to the outside, and Eddie starts with the chops. Danielson hits a DDT on the apron. Danielson then with a flying knee from the apron to the floor. Danielson puts Eddie in a surfboard type maneuver. Kingston hits an exploder suplex. Eddie with more killer chops. Eddie has some pretty strong chops, I tell you. LaBelle lock cinched in by Danielson. Kingston reaches the ropes. Hold is broken. Danielson attempted a top rope belly-to-back suplex. Kingston turned it around in midair. Danielson spits in Kingston's face. The ultimate insult. Back suplex by Danielson. And then the yes kicks by Danielson. A Northern Lights bomb by Kingston. He gets the cover for 2 count. Danielson starts in with the elbow strikes. Danielson stomps Kingston's head in for a while. Kingston gets up, hits a spinning back fist and a half and half suplex. Another spinning back fist, and then a power bomb and a high stack by Eddie Kingston. He gets the pin and the win. Eddie Kingston wins the Blue League of the Continental Classic and is heading to the final. This was another excellent match on Dynamite here. 4.5 bones out of 5. Very good match. Kay, what did you think of this match?
I thought it was shockingly good. I did not really have very high expectations. Both of these men are really good, but their styles are so radically different from each other that I wasn't very confident in it blending well in the ring, and they totally proved me wrong, which was delightful. Yeah, I just think Danielson's technical ability really complemented the bruiser style of Eddie, brawling style of Eddie. And yeah, his chops look like they hurt a lot.
I think this was about the best Eddie Kingston match I've ever seen, I thought.
Oh, me too, by far. By far. I feel like we saw moves from him in this match that we haven't seen from him before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's nice that he's expanding his repertoire.
Yeah, Bryan Danielson brings out the best in everyone. I mean, he's one of the best to ever do it, I think, really. After the match, Moxley comes down to check on his BCC compatriot Danielson. And then Moxley tells Kingston he knows he can't beat him. And Kingston knows that he can't beat him. So as far as he sees it, Kingston has already given up. Kingston then grabs the mic. And he says he's going to beat up Moxley and he's going to enjoy it. And so that's the final for the pay-per-view, Moxley versus Kingston for the Triple Crown. Then we cut to the back. We see Lexi Nair and the Patriarchy still awaiting Adam Copeland's arrival. Then there's a commercial. We cut to the back. Copeland comes in like a house of fire, attacks Nick Wayne, attacks Christian Cage. The B and C guys in the locker room all pour out. They come out to break up the backstage brawl. And this just builds to the TNT Championship match, the no DQ match at the pay-per-view, Christian Cage versus Adam Copeland. Up next, we have Chris Statlander versus Sky Blue. Blue attempts a Hurricane Rana. Statlander cartwheels out of it. Statlander with a delayed vertical suplex. And then a deadlift German suplex for a 2 count by Statlander. Code Blue for a 2 count by Sky Blue. Blue tries a Hurricane Rana. Statlander reverses it into a power bomb for a 2 count. Blue acts as though something is in her eye to distract the referee, and Julia Hart shows up and knocks Statlander off the top rope. And she stays on the top rope, though, and Sky Blue climbs up and hits a super Code Blue, but they don't quite pull it off. They don't quite hit it right. But that's the pin and the win. Sky Blue gets the win. This was a pretty decent match.
Until the end.
Until the end. I give it 3 bones out of 5. pretty good match. After the match, Julia Hart and Sky Blue attack Chris Statlander, and then Willow Nightingale runs down for the save, and then Abaddon enters and menaces the heels, and the heels exit a different way. They take the side route to the back as they're scared of Abaddon. What did you think of the Sky Blue Chris Statlander match, Kay?
It was okay. It wasn't the best match I've seen from either of these women, but it was looking pretty solid until that last move where I just feel like their timing was just like a smidgen off, but it was a big enough smidgen that it was super noticeable. I know that like for heels, they kind of have to cheat to get over their heelness, you know, but I'd like to see Sky Blue win a match not cheating. You know, against someone like on the caliber of Chris Statlander. If they're going to keep pushing her, I'd like to see them actually push her. If that makes sense.
Well, they're trying to, get this Julia Hart and Sky Blue
relationship.
Yeah, relationship solidified. So they've got to have some cheating going on,
Yeah. I just feel like it's an easy answer to the how can we get them to become one question,
Yeah, but, sometimes that's how it works.
Yeah.
You got to go with what's easy because that's how it works.
I just like more compelling storytelling.
I understand. I got you. Up next, Renee is with the Outcasts. Saraya says she got Harley Cameron to be Ruby Soho's helper. Ruby Soho then exits, taking a call from her on-screen and real-life boyfriend, Angelo Parker. Harley Cameron then pulls out a butcher knife for seemingly no reason, and Saraya says, no, let's try the other thing, and it's not revealed what the other thing is, and then they leave. So this is a rather puzzling segment. So I guess the Outcasts are still together, and I guess Harley Cameron is part of them now. And Harley Cameron is going to help Ruby Soho somehow with something that's not a butcher knife. Very puzzling segment, but I'm interested.
It's nice to see Harley Cameron again since QTV dissolved, She's pretty funny.
QTV dissolved like the diarrhea that it was.
That's disgusting.
It is disgusting.
Anyway.
We get another World's End card rundown, and then we are at our main event. Not a whole bunch of matches tonight. So we had one, two, three. We had three, and we get now for the main event, we kind of get a match. So we get four.
Do we?
Kind of. Not a whole lot of matches, but we got two really good matches on Dynamite. Ring of Honor World Tag Team title match. Of course, the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions are MJF at this point, MJF and Adam Cole, but Adam Cole's still injured. So Samoa Joe stepping in for Adam Cole. So it's MJF and Samoa Joe versus two of the Devil's henchmen. We're about to start the match, and we see a video of Samoa Joe in the back writhing around in pain. And at this point, it's going to be a handicap match. MJF, they start the match. MJF tries to unmask one, but gets guillotined on the top rope by the other masked man. MJF tries for a mask again on the outside, and a third masked man emerges from underneath the ring and hits MJF with a pipe. Back in the ring, one of the minions hits MJF with a heat seeker for the pin and the win. It's as quick as that. So I'm not going to rate this match as a squash match. We have new Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, the Devil's Henchmen.
I prefer minions.
The Devil's Minions.
Yeah, I like
Okay.
that better than Henchmen.
The Devil's Minions. At this point, all 4 masked men take the boots to MJF after the match. And then Samoa Joe's music hits, and he comes hobbling down to the ring with a steel chair. He clears out the minions. A message comes up on the big screen, which says, "Pleasure doing business with you."
It also shows the devil's face.
Right. And Samoa Joe then hits MJF with a steel chair, turning on him. And then gets him up and backs him into a corner and tells him, "I did this to you," yelling it at him. "I did this to you." And Joe hits MJF with a muscle buster on that torn up shoulder of MJF's. Then poses with the AEW World Title over MJF's body as the show goes off the air. So pretty good episode of Dynamite heading into the pay-per-view, setting up what looked like it was going to be a pretty good pay-per-view.
It was a pretty good pay-per-view.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. It set it up to make it look a lot better than it was going to be.
True. So
we'll get to that in a minute.
We're going to get to that right now.
Oh, right now.
Yeah.
Do you need these notes?
Oh, yeah, I do. So real quick, there were a couple matches on the 0 hour. Willow Nightingale pinned Chris Statlander. Kill Switch, formerly known as Luchasaurus, won a battle royal for #1 contendership to the TNT title. He could get a title match anytime, anywhere, kind of like the Money in the Bank in WWE.
Except this is just like a clipboard.
Yeah. A literal contract.
Yeah.
And then in the FTW title match, the champion Hook successfully defended his title against the Ring of Honor Pure Champion Wheeler Yuta in about the least hardcore match I've ever seen. And now we start the pay-per-view.
No, it's not. What about the hardcore? What the hardcore match they did to honor that guy that died on WWE? What was that?
What are you talking about?
When Terry Funk died, they did like a Terry Funk hardcore like memorial match, and it was like the lamest hardcore match ever. You don't remember that?
I vaguely remember what you're talking about.
It was like they used like a kendo stick.
Yeah, I vaguely remember what you're talking about. Oh, you were supposed to remind me to go get the prediction belt.
Oh, I'm sorry. Don't forget to go get the prediction belt.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know you're in trouble if you're asking me to help you remember things.
Yeah. Well. So, World's End pay-per-view. Show opened up with a big 8-man tag team match. Had Brody King, Jay Lethal, Jay White, and Roosh versus Mark Briscoe, Bryan Danielson, Daniel Garcia, and Claudio Castagnoli. Roosh and Claudio to start with an exchange of forearms and chops. Lethal and Briscoe in next with some redneck kung fu and some knife edge chops exchange. Danielson and Jay White in next. Danielson does the label lock. Jay gets to the ropes. Brody and Garcia in next. Roosh tags in. Roosh stomping repeatedly on Garcia and then mocking his dance. And Garcia's nose started bleeding at this point. Brody and Roosh kept doing quick tags. Daniel Garcia got manhandled by the whole heel team. Got chopped, stomped, rapid pins, focused on the left knee. Brody faces off with Daddy Magic and calls him a bitch. Daddy Magic was at the commentary table. There's a hot tag to Mark Briscoe. Danielson attacks Roosh while Garcia attacks Brody King. A lot of action in this match. Mark Briscoe hits the Cactus Jack elbow drop from the ring apron to the arena floor on Roosh. Fisherman's Buster by Mark Briscoe on Jay White, flurry of European uppercuts by Claudio onto Brody King. Claudio suplexes Brody. Big swing on King by Claudio. Pinned him, only got a 2 count. All men in the ring attacking each other. Garcia suplexes Brody. Garcia.
You gotta let that sink in for a minute. Garcia suplexes Brody King. Like, you gotta emphasize that one.
It was an impressive spot.
It was crazy impressive.
Garcia pins Jay Lethal for the 3 count. Got a roll-up pin, so the faces win. Briscoe, Danielson, Garcia, and Claudio get the win. And, of course, here on No Bones About Wrestling, AEW Weekly, we do Predictions Championship, and we have a belt for it. The belt is upstairs because I was supposed to go and get it.
And I forgot to remind him.
Yes. But whoever gets the most predictions right gets the belt. And so Kay at this point is 1 for 1. I picked the heels to win, so I am 0 for 1.
I'm also the reigning champion. He didn't mention that, but I feel like it's worth noting.
Correct. Yes, she's the reigning champion.
Also, I'm super competitive.
Yes, that too. Next match, Miro versus Andrade El Idolo. And the rumors going into this match were that this is Andrade's final match with AEW. Everyone seemed to say it was pretty much a sure thing. Andrade is headed back to WWE. So Andrade, of course, accompanied by Miro's wife, CJ Perry. Miro attacks Andrade before the bell, before he could even get his gear off. Miro is yelling and arguing with CJ Perry during the match. Miro relentlessly attacking Andrade. Andrade got in no offense in the beginning of the match. This was essentially a glorified squash match, really. It was about a 14-minute squash match. Miro put Andrade onto the announce table. Andrade knocked Miro over the announce table with a shove. Andrade threw Miro into the steel stairs. Superplex by Miro off of the middle rope. Crowd with a Let's Go Miro chants. Dragon screw through the ropes by Andrade. Moonsault to the outside by Andrade on Miro. This was a few moves that Andrade got in. Andrade hugs CJ Perry mid-match. A swan dive moonsault press by Andrade. He missed the first and hit the second moonsault. He landed on his feet and then hit a standing moonsault. Game over by Miro, but Andrade reaches the ropes. A hold is broken. Spinning back elbow by Andrade, he gets a 2 count. Andrade gets a figure 4. He bridges it into a figure 8, just like his wife, Charlotte Flair. The hold is reversed by Miro. Miro yelling and telling him to tap, motherfucker. CJ Perry knocks Andrade's arms down to break the figure 8. So CJ Perry turning on Andrade here.
Her own client.
Right. Miro cinches in the game over. Andrade taps out. And this pretty much did look like Andrade's final match. He was dominated by Miro here. And had his own manager turn against him, of course. It was a decent match. Miro looked very good. Andrade, they didn't give him anything. Like I said, it was essentially a glorified squash match. I gave it 3 bones out of 5. I was very much looking forward to this match, but it was too one-sided to enjoy too much. Miro just beat him up the whole time. Kay predicted, well, we both predicted this one correctly. So Kay was 2 for 2, and after this match, I was 1 for 2 on my picks. Up next, we had the Women's World Title match. Toni Storm defending her belt against Riho. I thought this was an odd place to put the women's world title match. Yeah. Too early in the show, I thought.
Too early in the show and before the TBS title match. Yeah. Like, that's not okay.
Yeah.
What do you think? Why do you think they did that?
Don't know. Couldn't tell you. I didn't like it, though.
No, me either.
I thought this should have come much later in the show.
Yeah, like the second main event. Not that I'm a big fan of the double main event thing, but it should be the match right before the main event.
That's what I thought.
But that's because you try and give equal importance to the women's belt as you do the men's belt, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like Tony Khan doesn't do that.
Yeah. So, Riho went for several suplexes while Toni was just standing there, not moving.
So, like, she couldn't lift her is what I meant by that.
I got you. Luther catches Riho and passed her to Toni, who slammed her on the floor outside the ring. Toni walked on Riho's back repeatedly. Several scoop-up slams by Toni Storm. Toni got on Luther's shoulders and has him run while she has Riho by the hair, and she flips Riho off of the apron onto the arena floor, and Luther gets ejected from the match. Riho then hit a 619 into a splash, into a slam, and went for the pin and got a 2 count. Riho then hit a splash to the outside. Toni, very shortly after that, back inside the ring, gets the Storm, what I believe is called the Storm 1, an older finisher of hers. She brings it back and gets the pin and the win, retains her belt. After the match, Mariah May throws rose petals all over Toni in celebration of her retaining the belt. We both predicted Toni Storm to win. We were both correct. So after this match, Kay was 3 for 3 in her picks. I was 2 for 3. Kay, what did you think about? Oh, and the bone rating. This match let me down a little bit. I expected more out of it. I was not impressed by Riho's offense. Toni Storm looked good. They never really got into much of a flow, you know, it never got into too much of a story in the match. So I gave this one 3 bones out of 5 also. It's just a little of a letdown to what I was hoping it could be. But again, I'm not too impressed with Riho personally. Kay, what did you think about this match?
I thought pretty much the exact same thing. This was not what I expected in a bad way. I also am not often taken with Riho and her performance. And this was on par with that. Toni Storm did a great job. The match was not terrible, but it just wasn't what I'm looking for as my main event pay-per-view women's title match. You know, like, I feel like this was a match I could have seen on Dynamite. And you don't want your pay-per-views to feel that way.
Yeah. And there was a stretch here where it did feel that way. With the Andrade Miro match, the Storm Riho match, and unfortunately this next match as well. So it was supposed to be Swerve Strickland versus Keith Lee, but earlier in the day of the pay-per-view, Keith Lee came out. It was a very strange day Saturday. He came out and let everyone know that he's been injured and been working through an injury for over a year or so, right?
Over a year, yeah. So
there's an explanation at least to why his matches have been so shitty. So I wish wrestlers wouldn't feel the need to work through injuries, you know. But at least there's an explanation to why he's fallen off so badly. But so they found a replacement for Keith Lee. And so the match, Swerve Strickland versus Dustin Rhodes. And Swerve attacked Dustin before the bell. Prince Nana pulled out a cinder block, and Swerve double stomped Dustin's ankle, breaking the cinder block.
This was all before the bell, so none of this was a disqualification or anything.
Right. Still no bell. A lot of staff come out from the back is what I meant to say, yeah, and check on Dustin and start walking him to the back, but he turns around and limps to the ring. As soon as the bell rings, Swerve kicks Dustin in the face.
Sorry, that was funny to me.
Dustin hits a crossbody off the top. Canadian Destroyer by Rhodes, followed by a snap power slam. Dustin knocks down Nana. Crossroads by Dustin for 2 count. Stretch muffler by Swerve, and he is stomping Dustin's face while he's in the hold. Dustin flips off and spits on Swerve, which may have been a mistake with the control Swerve had over him at this point in the match. House call by Swerve, and then a second one. And then Swerve stomp for the pin and the win. And so this one, again, not much of a competition. I was hoping for more. I'm not sure why they did the Swerve injuring Dustin before the match spot, just to show Dustin doesn't give up, that kind of thing, I mean, it was at least they had a story with the match.
I think it was more so to show how evil Swerve is.
I think that was
and
it.
To try and get him over as a heel,
right?
Which is not working.
Yeah, I think they were trying in vain.
Yeah.
To keep Swerve a heel, which what I was saying the other day is he is this generation's Stone Cold Steve Austin. They're trying to keep him a heel. It's not working. People love him too much. They're enjoying his work too much. You're just going to have to embrace him and realize that he's a face. People like him, and run with it and figure out some way to turn this evil, heelish character who breaks into people's houses and harasses their children and smashes, photos of dead fathers over their children's heads and hangs people and whatever else he does,
Smashes the ankles of an elderly man.
He's not elderly. And smashes Dustin Rhodes' ankle. Right.
How old is he?
50-something.
Oh, okay, yeah, not elderly.
They're going to have to find some way to turn this repellent character into a face, because that's what the crowd wants. They want to cheer Swerve. So Tony Khan needs to find some way to let the crowd be able to cheer Swerve, because trying to make him a heel and trying to keep him a heel is not working.
Well, he found a way with MJF, which I would not have thought possible had you told me that a year ago,
Yeah.
He was the biggest heel of the company, and he successfully turned him into the biggest face in the company. And so, I bet he has something up his sleeve,
Well, I hope so. But yeah, this match, not like I said, not much to it either. Nothing against either of the guys in it, but just not much to it. Kind of a glorified squash match, really. I gave this one 3 bones out of 5. We both predicted Swerve, so we were both correct. At this point, Kay was 4 for 4 in her picks, and I was 3 for 4 in my picks. Up next, we had another big 8-man tag. We had Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, Sting, and Darby Allin versus Powerhouse Hobbs, Konosuke Takeshita, and the World Tag Team Champions, Big Bill and Ricky Starks. There's an eye poke by Chris Jericho to Big Bill. Helicopter Blue Thunderbomb by Takeshita on Darby. Hobbs and Big Bill swing Darby Allin all the way across the ring. That was a pretty impressive spot. Hot tag from Darby to Sting. Big Bill got crotched on the top rope by Sting, who bounced him on it. Ricky did his stupid dancing rope walk while holding Sting's hand. I wish Sting had pulled him down on that,
Or just pushed him off.
Yeah, I don't care for that move.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
The rope walk is stupid enough, but then when you add the dancing to the rope walk, it's just stupid on stupid,
Scorpion Death Drop on Hobbs by Darby Allin. Scorpion Deathlock on Takeshita by Sting. Callis breaks it up by running into the ring with a bat. Dual Scorpion Deathlocks by Sting and Jericho on Hobbs. On Hobbs and Takeshita, excuse me. They're broken up by Ricky. Shooting Star Press by Sammy on Ricky, and Sammy gets the pin, and that team gets the win. The faces get the win.
I like that they gave Sammy the pin.
Why is that?
Because he's been gone, and he's been gone because he was hurt, and he's better, and he's back, and I'm excited that he's back, and I'm glad he got the win.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see him get a push now that he's back.
I hear you. So yeah, Jericho, Guevara, Sting, and Darby Allin get the win. We both predicted this correctly. So after this, Kay was 5 for 5 in her picks, and I was 4 for 5.
Sammy's one of the shortest heel turns ever. Wasn't he? They turned him heel for one match.
Yes. It's one
Right?
of the shortest heel turns ever, yes.
Okay.
There's probably some heel turn in WCW that is shorter during the Vince Russo era, I'm sure. That was probably 2 days or something. Yeah. Up next was the TBS title match. We had Julia Hart defending her belt against Abaddon.
Wait, what was your bone rating for that match?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't give it. My bone rating for that match, 4 bones out of 5. Good match. So that brought us up out of the 3-bone doldrums that we'd been in. So the 2 8-man tag matches have gotten 4 bones. Everything else so far on the show, I've given 3 bones. Been kind of underwhelming so far, except for the 8-man tags. And now the TBS title match, fought under house rules. Of course, Julia Hart in the House of Black. And Abaddon, of course, got to pick one rule of her own, and the rule that she picked was biting is allowed. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, at least that's what... So we couldn't hear the announcers when they said what they said when they said her stipulation.
Right.
But at one point they said biting is legal in this match. So I know that whatever her stipulation was, it at least included that biting is legal. But that's the only confirmed.
But we see biting all the time in AEW.
Yeah, we do.
So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. I'm unsure. Anyways, so we start off with "This is Spooky" chants. A lot of hard hits by both women to start. Julia used the ropes to choke Abaddon. Abaddon was biting Julia. More biting by Abaddon, but Sky Blue came out. She pushed Abaddon down, but Abaddon started attacking Sky Blue. Julia Hart repeatedly bashed Abaddon's head into the stairs. And then to end the match, Julia Hart completely missed a moonsault. She landed on her feet. And then she pinned Abaddon and got the pin and the win.
It was so awkward.
Yeah. The rest of the match was okay. The finish was terrible. I give this one... I'm going to give this one 2.5 bones out of 5. Not much to it.
just say that if you're a wrestler, because I mean, we saw it with Julia and the pay-per-view, we saw it with Sky Blue on Dynamite. If you're a wrestler and you can't consistently, successfully do your finisher, you need a different finisher.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be your like best move, your signature move. And if you only hit it like less than 50% of the time in a believable fashion, you gotta fix it. That's a huge problem.
Yeah. Well, they've got to change it before she kills someone, you know.
Or she hurts herself. I mean, hurts someone else or herself.
Yeah, I mean, before like she lands her knees directly on their head, you know.
Yeah.
Because if you can't hit it consistently, who knows where you're going to land?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. And then you land knee first on their head and you kill them. So, I mean, I'm being serious. I'm not trying to be funny.
Well, she weighs like 10 pounds.
Nonetheless,
yeah.
That trajectory, you know, coming off the top rope,
yeah,
a knee on a head.
Yeah, at the right spot.
Yeah. So, yeah, she needs to figure it out or change it. Yes. So that was the worst match on the pay-per-view. I thought just not much to it. And like I said, this pay-per-view at this point pretty underwhelming. Unfortunately, and I was really looking forward to it. I thought it had a chance of being a very good card. But what we're about to get into, it picks up, thankfully. And just to note, at this point, we both picked that match correctly. Julia Hart to win. At this point, Kay was 6 for 6 in her picks, and I was 5 for 6 in my picks. And up next, we had the TNT title match, no disqualification. Christian Cage defending his belt against Adam Copeland. Copeland is jacked. He looks amazing. The best he's looked since he's been in AEW. Looks terrific. Copeland is bleeding early. Copeland jumps on Cage from a heightened part of the arena. Christian starts using a kendo stick on Adam Copeland. Cage sets up a chair on Copeland's neck and sits in the chair. Looked painful, of course, on that fused neck of Copeland.
He doesn't just sit in the chair. He sits in the chair and starts putting him in a crab.
Yeah.
So it's like chair on him with his weight on him, and he's bending his legs up.
Yeah. Copeland puts on a submission hold with a chair part in Cage's mouth. Cage with a sunset bomb off the ladder onto Copeland. And this is where the match started getting wild. Copeland tried to concerto Christian, but Nick Wayne interfered. Copeland threw a chair at Christian twice, right at his head. Then speared Christian through a table. Pin for 2 count as Mother Wayne pulled Copeland off. Then Nick Wayne attacked Copeland with the TNT title belt. They set a table on fire. Adam Copeland tried to put Nick Wayne through the fiery table, but he missed, and he powerbombed him onto the arena floor.
His butt hit the table.
His butt hit the table. He was, yeah. His butt was very hot, and he was having to...
The table didn't break, though. It just flipped over.
Yeah, the table flipped over, and the fire went out. But, yeah, so... And that would have been an awesome spot, but, yeah, he missed. So he goes in, hits the kill switch on Christian, gets the pin and the win. New champion, Adam Copeland, TNT champion. This match was excellent, stole the show. 4.5 bones out of 5. This was the best match of the pay-per-view. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
4.5 bones out of 5. Very good. And after this, Kay was 7 for 7 in her picks, and I was 6 for 7 in my picks. So we were doing pretty good on this show. After Copeland wins the title, Kill Switch comes out. And he's maybe wanting to cash in his TNT title contract. But then Christian whispers something in his ear that we don't find out what it is.
Doesn't he hit Copeland with a chair first?
Who?
Luchasaurus, or whatever his name is.
Killswitch. I'm not sure.
I thought he did. Maybe I'm wrong. Sorry, continue.
But Christian whispers something in his ear, and Killswitch gives Christian the title contract. I think you're right. Yeah.
I think I'm right too, because that's like why he's like worn down.
Right. And Christian immediately pins Copeland and wins the title back. And I'm not sure how much the crowd liked that.
Oh, they seem to hate it.
Yeah. But yeah, very good match.
So is your bone rating for that one?
That 4.5 bones out of 5. Yeah.
Okay.
So up next we have the Continental Classic Final.
Wait, you didn't say what you thought. Did you hate it that they did that? I kind of liked it.
I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it. I mean, it got. I thought it would have been interesting to see a new champion for a while with the TNT title belt. I think Christian's had it for a while.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it.
I liked it. I feel like it helped solidify the scumbagginess of Christian's character and how much control he has over his underlings, you know?
Yeah.
I think it aided Christian's evilness. Because I feel like some people, like, he's so good at being a heel that I think that people are starting to, like him.
Yeah.
You know? And like the patriarchy, which is not what you want. And so I feel like this helped get people to not like him again.
Yeah. I think you maybe hit the nail on the head there. So what did you think of the match?
Oh, it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. That spot where Edge like jumped off the top of the stairs in the arena down, it was very cool. I wish he had gone through the table. I feel bad that they had this awesome spot set up, and I feel bad for them that it didn't land, because I think they would have been. I think they were really excited for that moment, you know?
The fiery table?
The fiery table, yeah.
Yeah, that was a shame. That was a shame.
And it was just like a mistaken table placement, you know? And there's not much you could have done about that. Yeah,
that really was a shame that they missed that. But, I mean, not to take away from a great match.
Yeah.
Great match. Up next, the Continental Classic Final to see who is going to be the first Triple Crown champion in AEW. Jon Moxley versus Eddie Kingston. And Bryan Danielson came out to do commentary. There's good mat wrestling to start. Very slow, very deliberately paced match to begin. A lot of chopping to begin. Kingston did a running push through the ropes and overshot it, hitting his head and shoulder on the barricade. Almost knocked himself out. Hit himself on the barricade, you know, between the fans and the arena and the ring. Eddie chopped Mox, but Mox, I don't know what that says.
Where are you? Gets his arms up like this.
Got his arms up and hit bone on bone.
Yeah, because he chopped him, but he had his arms up like this, and so he chopped his bone. His arm bone.
More chops. Yeah, there were a lot of chops in this match.
Ulna chops. Is that better?
Machine gun chops from Eddie. DDT by Eddie. Exchanging bulldog chokes. Exchange of clotheslines. Spinning back slap by Eddie. And he got the pin and the win.
Was a back slap.
And this was a very Japanese style match. A lot of mat wrestling. A lot of trying to get the advantage, trying to get the other man kind of tired. trying to get the grappling advantage over the other man. And like I said, very deliberately paced, and I'm sure it was a divisive match. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good match. I gave it 4 bones out of 5. But yeah, so Eddie Kingston is the first Triple Crown champion. And I believe on the AEW website, they're referring to him as the Continental Champion. I'm not sure if that's how they're going to keep referring to him. I think Triple Crown sounds way better. But on the website, it says Continental Champion, Eddie Kingston.
Well, that's what the belt is. That's the Continental Championship.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
But he's got 3 belts.
No, but the Continental Championship belt is the other 2 belts also.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I predicted Eddie Kingston to win. So I was 7 for 8 after this. Kay missed her first match of the night. She predicted Jon Moxley to win. So she was 7 for 8. So we were both we were tied at this point, both 7 for 8 in our picks. And now we head into the main event. MJF versus Samoa Joe. MJF putting his world title on the line against Samoa Joe. And before MJF came out, there was a funny Long Island promo with all these different Long Island businesses and people from Long Island. It was very cool, very nice, very very good touch. And Adam Cole came out with MJF, which I didn't expect. You know, our prediction, if you listen to us on the show here, our prediction was for weeks has been Adam Cole's the devil. And when he came out with MJF, I was surprised. I said, now how the fuck are they going to do this now, you know? I just didn't expect Adam Cole to come out.
I don't think anybody did.
Yeah. But there it was.
They came to the ring separately. Like,
right.
They didn't come out together, but, like, MJF came out, got down to the ring, and then pointed at the stage or entrance, and then Adam Cole's music hit.
Yeah, so fuck you, Joe chants right before the match. Joe targeting MJF's shoulder, punching, pulling, squeezing on it. MJF escaped a muscle buster. Max trying to go for quick covers on Joe. Joe thwarted the kangaroo kick. Joe kicked Max in the head while he was trying to skin the cat. Dragon suplex by Joe, followed by a release. Straight jacket German. Muscle buster onto the apron by Joe. Headbutt from MJF, followed by an eye rake. MJF bit Joe's head. MJF tried to get Joe on his shoulders and collapsed under the weight. An armbar by MJF using a tape on Joe's head to help.
Hand.
On Joe's hand, thank you, to help. Joe reversed it into an armbar on Max's injured shoulder. MJF pushed Joe into the ref. MJF low-blowed Joe, then got him on his shoulder and hit an F5 for a 2 count. MJF called for the ring, the Dynamite Diamond ring from Adam Cole. And he had, he was looking for it. He was, had a hard time finding it. He was looking in this pocket, looking in this pocket of his jacket, looking in this pocket of his pants, this pocket. I can't fucking find it. And then finally he gets it. But it's too late. Joe gets MJF in a chokehold, and they raise his hand, and it drops 3 times, and the crowd is stunned, and Samoa Joe wins by knockout and is the new AEW World Champion. And so after the match, Adam Cole is consoling MJF, and then the the Devil's minions come and they grab MJF and they grab Adam Cole and they're about to, start beat the shit out of him.
They're gonna hit him with a chair.
Right.
They brought a chair with them.
Right. And the lights go off and the lights come back on and Adam Cole is sitting in the chair and the 4 minions are behind him now. And right?
Yeah, and Adam Cole's smiling evilly.
And MJF is just on the mat.
On the mat, like cowering.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he thinks he's about to be hit with a chair until the lights come back on.
And so it's revealed Adam Cole is the devil.
He pulls out the mask from inside his jacket.
Yeah, he pulls out the mask from inside his jacket. And the minions behind him take their masks off. And it's revealed. And if you've been listening to our show, I'm going to pat ourselves on the back for a minute here. You'll know that we got it right. We've had it right for weeks, 100% right. Adam Cole was the devil, and his minions were Wardlow, Roderick Strong, and the Kingdom. And so we find out at least the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions are the Kingdom.
Finally. Sorry. I wanted them to have those titles for so long, and they finally have them. And I know I shouldn't be excited because this is like the downfall of MJF, and I love him. But I was really excited that the Kingdom got the ROH tag titles. Sorry. I just had to add that in.
But yes, so...
Wait, so what did you give the match? You never said your match rating.
Oh, I didn't say what I gave the match. I gave the match 3.5 bones. It was decent. They had to work around MJF's injuries, and they did a decent job while keeping some drama about it. So 3.5 bones. And in our picks, we both picked MJF to win. We both thought everything was pointing to MJF losing, so we thought somehow he was going to still win while they revealed the devil, So we were both wrong. So we both finished 7 for 9 in our picks.
Which means due to Champion's advantage.
Which means due to Champion's advantage,
I guess keep the belt.
Kay keeps the prediction belt. So Kay is still the predictions champion.
Yay!
Yes. Job well done.
Thank you.
But we both did very well in our picks, 7 for 9. Pretty good. And we both, as I said, patting ourselves on the back just one more time. For weeks ago, if you listen to our show, watch our show, weeks ago picked the devil and his minions as Adam Cole and Wardlow, the Kingdom, and Roderick Strong.
Well, I had the 3 of them. I did not have Wardlow.
Well, I did. I've been saying it for weeks and weeks. You've been saying it for
forever, and I thought you were going to be wrong. But you're not. There was that one Wardlow-sized gentleman. Makes sense.
But so, yeah, now MJF is now actually off of the roster, off of the AEW online roster, as they're really playing up this whole deal with him not having re-signed. I'm not sure if it's true or not. Personally, I think he has already re-signed with them. Of course, I have no idea if that's true or not, but that's personally what I think. But for now, it seems as though MJF is taking some time off, some much-needed time off. Has a couple injuries. We're going to talk about that in a minute.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So if MJF is taking time off, now that Adam Cole reveals he's the devil,
right? What
the fuck are they going to do?
We're going to find out Wednesday. We're going to find out tomorrow.
Oh, it's tomorrow. Yay.
Yeah. I mean, right. What's up? What's going to happen? If MJF's gone, what's the devil going to do?
And if the devil was pursuing MJF, was Adam Cole pursuing MJF because he's MJF and he was just trying to like mess with him, or was it because he's after the title? Because if so, now is all of this going to shift focus to Joe, even though Joe was in cahoots with them? Like, are they now going to go after him because they want that title, or what?
Yeah, good question. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this pay-per-view ended with like more questions than we started with going into it.
Yeah.
And I love AEW pay-per-views. I always thoroughly enjoy them. And this is the first one that I've ever been like lukewarm about. You know,
Yeah,
like
I agree.
I didn't dislike it, but it was not.
It was just okay.
It was just okay, which that's the first time I've ever said that about any AEW pay-per-view.
Yeah. Usually I think they're fucking awesome.
Yeah, like mind-blowingly awesome.
Yeah, like great. Yeah.
Like each time we see a new one, we have the debate of like, is this the best one or is it the one before? You know what I mean? Like each time it's like they're outdoing themselves, and this time they did not get anywhere near that.
No. And there were some things playing against them, you know. MJF's injured. Keith Lee injured, pulled out of the match. Andrade leaving. So they booked a squash match. But then some of the other matches just were like the Julia Hart Abaddon match just was nothing to it. What were the other ones? Not much to it.
Riho and
Tony Storm, not much to it. I hate to say.
I think it was really just those.
Yeah, just a hand.
That's kind of a lot.
Right, yeah.
There's only 9 on the show.
Yeah, handful of matches. Yeah, just disappointing. Now there were some very good matches. The 2 8-man matches and the TNT title match saved the show.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, because that's as far as being like great. That was it. So I still enjoyed it, but not to the extent, like Kay said, not to the extent we usually do. I kept waiting for the show to pick up, and it didn't really pick up until the opening match was good, and then it fell into a lull until the TNT title match, really.
Like, we'll buy the DVD, but not because I want to rewatch it, but just so our collection is complete. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's up next?
I would do the top 5.
Don't we usually do the news?
Why do you always ask me what's next then?
Because I want you to say the news.
Oh, I thought you were letting me pick, and I was picking the top 5. Okay, well, the news.
Okay. Where is it?
It's on the next page.
No, I want you to say the news so then I can do my thing.
Okay. The news.
AEW News Roundup. Former WWF star Scotty 2 Hotty made his AEW in-ring debut on a Dynamite dark match. He has been working with AEW as a producer since July. Mariah May will have her in-ring debut on tomorrow's Dynamite. Her opponent has not yet been announced. Shawn Spears is leaving AEW after 5 years with the company. With the success of the Continental Classic, Tony Khan said he will be moving toward a more sports-based presentation based on fan feedback. What that means, we don't know yet, so we will see. AEW following World's End, he could be immediately going to WWE. A lot of people believe he may be ending up in WWE as soon as this week. It was a great week in ratings for AEW, with Collision last week finishing above the NBA and Dynamite's ratings, the biggest since Grand Slam. Also, World's End was a sellout. up at the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island. Dynamite did 843,000 viewers, and that was up averaged 843,000 viewers, and that was up 7.8%. And it did a 0.31 in the 18 through 49-year-old demographic. At the post-World's End media scrum, Tony Khan reiterated his claim that he will be very active in signing women in 2024, saying he had, quote, many cards up his sleeve.
Not a few, but many.
So let's hope he does.
Yeah. That's exciting.
Yeah, and one of those, a lot of people believe that it's almost a done deal that he is bringing Mercedes Moné to AEW. So we'll see when we see.
I want Maria Kanellis-Bennett to come to AEW. I don't understand why she's not there. Because we have the Kingdom, we have Mike Bennett. I want the better Bennett.
And she's not even around in Ring of Honor right now, is she? Mm. According to Dave Meltzer, Samoa Joe winning the title from MJF at World's End was always the plan and is unrelated to MJF's injury. Do you buy that?
I do.
Yeah. AEW Battle of the Belts 9 will take place on Saturday, January 13th at 10 p.m., immediately following Collision. I believe that's the same night as TNA's big show they're doing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
MJF is currently debating rehabbing his torn labrum or having it surgically repaired. Either would mean he is out of action for a while. And as I mentioned earlier, MJF has been removed from the online AEW roster. So I think that whole deal, that's a work, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I think he resigned a while ago, but I don't know.
I think he resigned like over a year ago.
That's what I think too.
Because I don't think they'd be letting him do the bidding war of 2024 had he not already resigned.
Yeah, that's my belief too. Yeah, I don't think so. Today on the Shining Wizards podcast, Ortiz talked about the split of Proud and Powerful, stating Santana, quote, was very adamant about not working with me anymore for whatever reason. He went on to say that the storyline split that happened on Rampage felt rushed to him.
And me.
Yeah, it was rushed. They could have gotten a very good angle out of that. And
it could have been a pay-per-view match.
Yeah. And if you watched it on Rampage, the two did very good promos leading up to it. And Santana, I don't know what his deal is. Yeah, just doesn't want to work with Ortiz. And last I heard, Santana was working at House of Glory in New York on the independent scene, and he is their champion right now, I believe.
And that's the news.
And that is all the news that's fit to print.
So on to the top 5?
On to the top 5, if I can find where it is in this notebook.
Uh-oh. If only we had sticky notes that we got for Christmas.
Like it's going to take me a second to find it here. If you want to...
Well, what?
If you want to entertain the viewers with some thoughts.
Thoughts about what?
Anything. I found it.
Okay, good. Oh, yeah, you saved me. Thank you.
It's time. It's time for the top.
Okay.
Top 5. Top 5. Each week, we strenuously sweat and slave over bringing you the top 5 men, the top 5 women, and the top 5 teams in AEW Our formula is super secret, super proprietary, and super accurate. And we will take the secret with us to the grave. To our watery grave.
I was going to say our watery grave. If you haven't watched Dave Chappelle's new stand-up special on Netflix, you should. It's hilarious.
Yeah, you would get that. To our watery grave. To our watery grave.
Well, you did it that time. Okay, anyway.
So what are we going to start with?
Let's start with teams, since it's the least eventful.
Okay. Excuse me. Top 5 teams. Coming in at number 5 this week. Back on the list, the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, 2 of the Devil's minions, the Kingdom.
Yeah.
Number 4, House of Black, Malachi Black and Buddy Matthews, rising up 1 spot from number 5. Number 3 this week, Big Bill and Ricky Starks, the World Tag Team Champions. Same spot as last week. Number 2 this week, Top Flight and Action Andretti, who have been impressing very much in the trios lately. And they were number 2 last week. And number 1, same as last week, the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass, the World Trios Champions. So number 1, the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass. Number 2, Top Flight and Action Andretti. Number 3, Big Bill and Ricky Starks. Number 4, the House of Black. Number 5, the Kingdom. So what next, men or women?
Let's do men next.
All right, top 5 men. Number 5, dropping a spot from number 4 last week, Swerve Strickland. Even though he got the win over Dustin Rhodes at the pay-per-view. At number 4, falling all the way from number 1, MJF. Lost his world title at the pay-per-view.
Lost his best friend at the pay-per-view.
And his best friend. Number 3, back on the top 5. He lost and then regained his TNT championship on World's End, Christian Cage. Number 2, the winner of the Continental Classic tournament and the Continental champion, Eddie Kingston, back in the top 5. And up 1 spot from number 2 last week, he is the new AEW World Champion, Samoa Joe. Did you think you would see Samoa Joe, AEW World Champion?
I did not. No. Did you?
I did not. So that's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. Good for Samoa Joe. So we've never had a number 1 on the men's besides MJF on this show.
Oh, really? Oh, because he's been
never
the whole time.
Yeah, never. So number 1, Samoa Joe. Number 2, Eddie Kingston. Number 3, Christian Cage. Number 4, MJF. Number 5, Swerve Strickland. And for the women, number 5, Willow Nightingale, back on the list. She got a win on the 0 hour. Number 4, falling 2 spots from number 2 last week, Riho. She lost in her bid for the world title against Toni Storm on World's End. Number 3, up 2 spots from number 5, even though she lost her bid for the TNT title at World's End. Number 3 is Abaddon. Number 2, up 1 spot from number 3 last week, the TNT champion, Julia Hart of the House of Black. And staying at number 1, the Women's World Champion, Toni Storm. So number 1, Toni Storm. Number 2, Julia Hart. Number 3, Abaddon. Number 4, Riho. Number 5, Willow Nightingale. And that's the top 5. And so now we bring you the topic of the week. And so this week, we're going to very briefly just discuss some of the things that we would like to see in AEW in this new year, 2024. It's okay. I'm going to let you begin. We'll take turns.
Okay, I'm going to say the one that I know we both want. Then is that okay?
Go ahead.
I would like to see Swerve with the world title belt in 2024, and I think it's going to happen hope it's going to happen. And I hope if I say it enough, it's going to happen. I just think he's really proven he can put in the work. He can carry promos, I feel like his shoulders are a good set to carry the company for a while. What about you?
So in 2024, I would like to see more of a focus on women's wrestling. It's something that we say all the time here on the show. And we did just get two women's matches on the pay-per-view, which is nice.
And one on the 0 hour.
And I was about to say, one on the 0 hour. If you would let me finish my goddamn sentence.
Never.
So that was nice. If we could keep going with things like that, that would be nice. And there are several stories going right now in the women's division. And we have Serena Deeb returning as well. And it is widely believed that Mercedes Moné is coming to AEW. And of course, we have Mariah May debuting tomorrow on Dynamite. So the women's division has a lot going for it right now. And if Tony Khan can carry that momentum through, and he himself said that he has some, what did he say, cards up his sleeve? Many cards up his sleeve regarding women's free agent signings, right?
Women's signings, yeah.
So if he's true to his word, I think we will see more of a focus on women's wrestling in 2024 from AEW. And so that's nothing but a good thing.
Is it my turn now?
It's your turn. Was Swerve the only thing you had prepared?
No, I have one more.
You have one more. Okay. One more. That's fun.
It also involves who I want to win the belt.
Okay.
I want there to be a fantastic feud between Toni Storm and Thunder Rosa that lasts months and months and culminates with Thunder Rosa getting her belt back.
I would love to see that.
In like a glorious victorious fashion. Not Victorian fashion. They're all going to have really high collars on and little umbrellas.
I would love to see that as well, yeah. Maybe even leading to a women's blood and guts match, maybe?
Oh, yeah. Or possibly the first, I don't know if they've done this before, but a women's Iron Man match.
Okay.
Iron Woman match, That'd be cool.
30 minutes or 60 minutes?
Or a Texas death match.
Okay.
Yeah, some kind of awesome stipulate. I love this idea.
Any of those, all those sound good to me. Yeah.
Sounds good.
All those sound good. Yeah. It would be nice seeing those two work together. Yeah. Be very good for the division.
Plus, there's already a story there that they can just add to,
Mm-hmm. We want you to refresh the fans.
So when Thunder Rosa was injured, Toni Storm became interim champion, and they kept the term interim in front of her title reign for almost her entire title reign before they finally dropped interim and she officially became the champion. And there was, I don't know, it's probably kayfabe business resentment, but there was some resentment there because of that. And so Thunder Rosa had to lose her championship due to injury. Toni Storm was looked at as the secondary champion, even though she won the belt, or was earned the belts. So that's the backstory. So they have a story already in their back pocket that they can just pull out and run with and add to. And I want it to not just be a 1 month thing, or I want it to build,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they can do it. And I really want them to, so I'm just going to keep wishing really hard.
I agree.
What about you? Do you have anything else besides
I do. I got a couple more.
Okay.
In 2024, I would like to see the Devil, Adam Cole Bebe, and his minions run roughshod over AEW. Winning a couple more belts. That's how you do it in wrestling. Win some belts. Right now they have the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. That's not enough. They need some AEW belts, and a couple of them. The world title, for instance, or maybe the World Tag Team titles or the TNT belt. The world title at least. Although I don't know what that does. What?
They already attacked the Acclaim, so they could go after the trios belts, and there would be some groundwork already laid there.
Good call.
Thank
Good
you.
call. Good call. So who would be the trios then?
You could have any combination you wanted.
Well, but there's only so many guys in the.
Well, what if you treated it like the New Day and the tag belts?
But no, because two of the guys already have belts, so somebody's going to have two belts.
Yeah. Is that a problem?
I guess not. Okay.
MJF had two belts for the last 3 months.
That's true. So one of the Kingdom guys is going to be in a trios.
I'm going to say Matt Taven can have two belts.
So it'll be like Wardlow, Matt Taven, Roderick Strong in a trios.
Yeah.
All right, I'm with it. But so they gotta dominate AEW in some way, and the world title, it looks to be, Samoa Joe on his own, kind of doing his own thing. Or that, like, our question: are they going after Samoa Joe? Are we about to see Samoa Joe versus Swerve Strickland for the world title? What's it going to be? Revolution? Is that going to be the Revolution world title match? Are we going to see Swerve Strickland with a world title at Revolution? Is Samoa Joe just what's the word? Transitional champion. I don't know. We'll see. But they have got to establish this new stable, the Devil and his Minions, whatever they're going to call it, with some dominance. They've got to do it. And usually in wrestling, you do that with belts. So they've got to get some belts on these guys. And I don't know what the world title scene is what's going on, but they've got to do it. They've got to get some belts on these guys, so that when MJF returns, he can, come back and save the company. And hopefully at this point, some of the other baby faces in AEW might be ready to be on MJF's side this time, and might be ready to form sort of an alliance against the Devil and his minions, That's what I would like to see. I mean, play out a real nice, just stable, taking over the company. Hero returns, and then bad guys are vanquished by the returning hero and his buddies, whoever MJF can become buddies with. That's the way I would like to see it go down.
I thought of one more. Can I say?
Yeah. Go ahead. I have one more as well.
I would like to see more male faces in the world title picture. Because with MJF, Adam Cole was gone, so I'm not going to count him. It was just like all of these different people gunning for him from every angle, all of whom were heels. And now MJF is out for who knows how long, potentially.
Potentially a while.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're going to do.
And so in the world title picture, that doesn't really leave any faces. So they need to move some guys up to that level that either are faces or turn some guys from heels to faces, I think. I would like to, rather than them do that, I'd like to see them move some guys up. I feel like Orange Cassidy has proved his time and his worth with his international title run. I feel like he's earned a spot in the world title picture at least. Even if you don't give him the belts, let him try for it. Yeah, I just feel like they need faces that are good guys, because when Will Ospreay comes, he's still in the painting of the Don Callis family, so I'm assuming he's going to be a heel.
I'm assuming he's going to be a face when he comes.
So he's going to abandon the Callis family like Sammy did?
I think so.
Okay, good. Well, that'll be good then.
But I'm basing that on only the fact that I think he's going to have to be a face because people are so excited that he's coming.
So excited, yes. I'm so excited.
So they couldn't make him a heel.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, he is still in that painting.
Mm-hmm.
But
or they could make him a face and they could put him in a tag team with Kenny, and then we'd have like a super tag team. They'd be unstoppable. Throw Bryan Danielson in and you have like a trios of the best wrestlers in the world. Huh.
That would be kind of cool.
That'd be awesome.
That would be kind of cool. I'd rather see those guys wrestle each other, though.
I would too, but they already have.
Well, I want more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we haven't seen Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Ospreay and Danielson.
I think that's gonna be all in.
Ospreay and Swerve. I have no idea. I'm not looking that far yet. I'm not looking that far. I don't even know what the fuck's gonna happen at Revolution yet.
But that's what we're doing. We're predicting the future, saying what we want in the future.
We're saying what we want.
Yeah. So if you could pick his all-in match, what would you pick?
Who's all in match? Ospreay?
Ospreay's.
Well, personally, what I would like to see happen with the world title is Samoa Joe lose it to Swerve, maybe at Revolution, maybe sooner than Revolution, honestly. And then have Swerve hold it until All In. Do Swerve versus Will Ospreay at All In and have Ospreay win the title there. And the place just goes fucking nuts.
That'd be cool.
You could go a different way though. I don't want Swerve's first title reign to be just like 5 months. You know, that's a little. I mean, that's not that short, really. You know.
When is All In?
August, I think, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think so. I think it's August, I believe. Yeah. So it'd be like 5.5 months. Yeah, that's not that bad. Not that short. That's not a great title reign either.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know what they're gonna do with the world title scene. We've seen Ospreay and Omega several times, so I almost don't want to say that.
We've only seen it twice, and we only got to see it once because we didn't watch Wrestle Kingdom or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Is that Wrestle Kingdom?
So, if not Ospreay versus Swerve, then Ospreay versus Omega again. Why the hell not? Yeah. I mean,
because I want to see that at Revolution, so we're there.
You want to see what at Revolution?
I want to see Ospreay versus Omega 3 at Revolution. So we can be there for it.
Lord. That would be amazing.
That would
Oh,
be
my
amazing,
Lord.
Yeah.
I would lose my mind. What were we on? We got a little off topic, I think.
We're talking about what we want to see in AEW in the coming year.
Yeah, but who's were we on?
You were talking.
Was I?
Yeah.
Was it my topic?
Oh, wait, no, it was my topic.
No, it was your topic. That's what I thought.
I want faces. That was my thing. Yeah.
So are you done?
I'm done.
Yeah, that's what I thought. We got off topic.
Sorry.
Okay. So, what I would like to see is I would like to see the Continental Classic. We know it's coming back for singles. I would like to see the Continental Classic for tag teams. I'd like to see the tag team division get a shot in the arm because it's been really sorely missed. I don't know what's going on with AEW in the tag team division.
Well, the Continental Classic took over.
Yeah, but it's even before that. it had gone kind of downhill, where we've not been seeing as many tag team matches as we had. I'm not sure what's up with that. But more tag team matches, and personally, I would like to see the Continental Classic have a tag team version as well.
With a belt?
Not necessarily.
How about like
Maybe
nice
like a
plaque?
trophy. Maybe like a trophy. Yeah, not with a new. It doesn't need a. We don't need a new tag team belt. No, just like a trophy for the tag team. But it would be nice to have a cool round robin tag team tournament. I think that would be very fun because tag team wrestling is great, and to do it in the style of the Continental Classic would be a lot of fun. So that's something I would personally love to see in 2024. Kay, do you have any others? You got anything else?
I don't think so. No, I have one more.
Okay.
I would like to see luchadors be able to win things.
Good one.
Like matches,
Good one.
for example. Or maybe even a belt.
Yeah.
That would be nice because they have some amazing luchadors and they're not doing anything with them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, guys like Commander, guys, they use El Hijo del Vikingo a lot. He wins a good deal. They treat him fairly well. He's not an AEW. He's not on the AEW roster yet, but I think I don't know when his contract is up. But I think whenever his AAA contract is up, I think he will sign with AEW. I think he will. I think they'll offer him more money than AAA will. So I think he will come to AEW. But yeah, I love him. So more of him and him winning things, yes.
Well, and like Gravity. And
Gravity
Metal
also.
League
Who'd you say?
Metal League.
Metal League, yeah.
Bandito when he's better.
Bandito, exactly, yes.
Ripley.
The luchadors have been, I agree with you. Not to take over your thing.
No, it's fine. Go ahead. It's your topic. I mean, it is like your thing, you know?
But the luchadors have been, kind of taken for granted in AEW. I mean, they're there and they put on terrific matches that they lose all the time. They come out and they put on terrific trios matches or terrific tag matches that they lose all the goddamn time, except for the Lucha Brothers who have gotten to win the tag team titles.
And the trios belts.
And the trios belts, yeah. The Death Triangle with Pac. But the rest of the luchadors have not been given as much as the Lucha Brothers. And they've given a lot to AEW, the product. So they should be rewarded because the fans love them. I love them. And like I said, they've helped build the product quite a bit. So reward them with wins and with belts. Yes, I 100% agree with you. That's a great suggestion. Reward the luchadors.
It's your turn. Do you have anything else?
I think that's a great note to end on.
Okay.
So, folks, this has been AEW Weekly. Thank you very much for joining us. Next week, we're going to be back at our regular time. We're going to stop switching times all around. Mondays at 6 o'clock. Monday night at 6 o'clock is where we're going to stay. The next time you can hear from us, we will be on... we're going to be doing a retro watch-along on Sunday at 12:45. We are watching, this month, January, we are watching Retro Royal Rumbles in honor of the WWF Royal Rumble happening. WWE Royal Rumble happening. Well, we're watching WWF Royal Rumbles. This Sunday, we're watching WWF Royal Rumble 1994. So just come here on our YouTube account or Twitter account at 12:45 on Sunday and we'll talk about the card, kind of shoot the shit for a little while. And then at 1 p.m., we will start the show on our Peacock account. And then just watch along with us, and we'll have some facts, some trivia, some fun, and some jokes as always. It's a good show. Undertaker versus Yokozuna for the world title in a casket match. Razor Ramon versus IRS for the Intercontinental title.
Yeah.
Brett and Owen Hart team up to take on the Quebecers for the World Tag Team titles. And then, of course, the Royal Rumble match itself. I believe there may be one or two other matches, but very good event. Very good show. But yeah, make sure to tune in. Retro Watch Along is back Sunday at 12:45 right here. No bones about wrestling. And as Mick Foley would say, have a nice day. Bye.